On the field, David Jeremiah coming in here to try and make things happen at the early stages of the second half. Again, Jean-Louis, the man between the sticks, was outstanding for Mauritius. Serious contender for man of the match here.
Indeed, between the last man of defense and the defender, they were brilliant.
They certainly were brilliant. And as how we look at the longer stands here for Lesotho and Mozambique, you can tell how much 3 points will mean here. If it's Mozambique together, they go top of the group. If it's Lesotho that get the 3 points, they stretch their lead right at the top. So much to play for. William Shaw earlier on had the pleasure of speaking to both coaches here. And there's what Leslie Nossi of Lesotho had to say, as well as the coach of Mozambique as well.
It's your second game and you're playing another ball-playing team and they won their last game. How do you hope to contain them?
Okay, let me say that we are prepared. So we know that Lesotho is a very good team. They won the first match. So we try to correct some mistakes that we did in the first game yesterday. And then so we think today we're going to get a good performance because we need to get some points in order to be first position or to reach another stage.
You're talking about mistake made in that first game. What would be one of them?
Okay, I think so. Our opponent is here. This is a mistake that I'm going to say. So we must be concentrated in the first 15 minutes because we're suffering goal early. So that's why we'll be organized well defensively, and then so we'll be fast in transition.
You also took a little bit longer to build up. You only got it right in the second half, and you started applying high pressure. What would have gone wrong in that first half that you worked on so that it doesn't happen again?
Okay, so second half, as we was losing the game, so we told players that we have to do our model game, our philosophy. We have to trust. We must be confident, not losing the ball, have more control, more possession. So we changed because our team we played like we have a build-up from central defenders until to get to the midfields, and then we try to score. So this game will be will be more competitive as we was at the second half of the last game.
Great performance in your last game. Free-flowing combinations at the back, and obviously you got the 2 goals. And how are you going to approach it this evening?
Oh, thank you. We're intending to continue with the way we've been playing. And yes, of course, we understand that today's match, it will be a different ball game from our previous match against Mauritius. But we believe in the way we play, and we are also aware how Mozambique plays. They are very good tactically and technically, but we believe on our plan for today's match, everything will go according to our plan.
Exactly my concern that you cannot approach the game the same way as that of Mauritius, because Mozambique are a whole lot more tactical.
Yes, of course. Hence, I'm saying we had a look at their game, and we have worked on that, on the aspects of their game when they have possession and the areas that they are quite good at. So we believe in the way we have planned that it will go our way.
Any changes made in as far as going forward to impact this game?
Yes, there have been a change at the back, right back. We have brought in another player. Malan is there. Sinkoto is out, and we have also put in Fotwane as a number 10. We bring in Bereng to come in there. And of course, again, the setback is the injuries to Motiban Sera. So Sera is totally out of the game today. Yes.
That would be very unfortunate, but nevertheless, and all the best for this game.
No, thank you so much. We still believe in the other players that we have, that this is the opportunity for them to come and get the international exposure.
Thank you very much, Coach.
Thank you so much.
The scramble for places is very much on in Group C of the HOLLYWOODBETS COSAFA of 2023, as Mozambique go in search of their first win up against a Lesotho outfit looking to maintain their 100% win record and spot on top of the group. A good evening it is wherever you are on what has been a cold day out in Durban. It's, well, a cold night as well. Not only that, it's windy, and the wind had a huge effect in the game played earlier on today. It will have an effect, one does suspect, in this game here in the evening time. Again, when you look at the angle at which we're showing you the game, The wind will be blowing from right to left, so from south to north, as those that have turned out aren't only bundled together to stay warm, they are also dressed for the part, William Shongwe.
Well, you can see most of those fans are coming from Lesotho, and I'm sure it's even more colder, so they know how to deal with this type of temperatures.
So, out to the tunnel they come. In the next few moments here, the nations, well, but Mozambique and Lesotho. Mozambique yet to pick up a win, having drawn against Angola earlier on in the group. Don't know, especially with Angola having stumbled in the surprise result of today, where they lost out 1-0 to Mauritius. They don't know how important a win will be. Will the nation of Mozambique, whilst for Lesotho, a second win in a row will just about seal their spot in the semi-finals. That's how important this particular game is ahead of the final round of matches. As we await them coming out of the tunnel, then Mozambique, keep in mind, have never lost to Lesotho. They've won just once. Two of their matches have ended in draws. What is interesting is these sides haven't played against each other since the year 2006. So it's been quite some time since they've crossed past the nations of Mozambique and Lesotho. Lesotho looking for their first ever win against Mozambique on a day when Mauritius were able to come up with only their second ever win against Angola. Well, no one can really put it past Lesotho, going past this little milestone if they are to get it here today.
We'll talk about the tactical approach of the two sides, but I can't help. If Mozambique are going to just stay and apply themselves like an ordinary team, then they won't have a chance, because the Lesotho are so technical, they can keep the ball defensive.
Well, both sides lining up now. We're getting closer and closer to the moment of truth in the way of kickoff. Let's, however, get ready for the national anthems.
Princess Makoko, may you please stand up for the national anthem of Mozambique. Kindly remain as you are for the national anthem of Lesotho.
Well, for Lesotho in your picture, their best ever showing at the COSAFA Cup was a runners-up showing back in 2000. The World Cup finalists in 99 as well as 2001, semi-finalists back in 2013, semi-finalists again in 2017, quarterfinalists in 2016, and a third place finished in 2018, whilst there were semi-finalists again in 2019. Since then, since 2019, that is, the best they've been able to manage is a first round. That is Lesotho. If they are to come up with the results after the good start they've had to this group, they could very well go beyond the first round and into the semi-finals with the new change in format in as far as the COSAFA Cup. That's just how crucial this match is for them in just their overall look here. As we have a look at the Mozambican side that's made a number of changes here. Joel as well as Dario coming into the central midfield areas just behind Melchior, who come into the number 9 position going forward. Watch out for Dario, who's a goal scorer out wide in the left side, whilst in defense they'll also bring in Martinho.
4 at the back and 3 in the middle of the park means that between Nelson and Dario have the freedom to push forward in support of Melke, but also Dario will be joining in, and Zhao is the other that might just push forward.
Looking at Lesotho, they have made a couple of changes, as we heard the coach Janosi say. Malani coming into the left back position. Bereng will come into a creative slot in the heart of midfield. Tabansu is crucial, having scored 5 goals for Lesotho in the history of the COSAFA Cup. Their top goal scorer, however, Mutibang Sera, who came in off the bench to score in the last match, is injured and totally unavailable today to add to his 7 goals he scored now for Lesotho in the COSAFA Cup.
To have Bereng as a number 10 in today's game means that Mokachane and Sefali are going to have so much support with all the passes going forward, and it again the creativity side will happen a lot higher in the field of play for Lesotho.
The match referee, Mr. Kanganaga from Malawi, is assisted by Mr. Tugasi from Seychelles and Mr. Nilenda from Zambia. The 4th official, Mr. Dintwa from Botswana. Now, coaches will be looking for results here today, but it's also important how you start the particular game here. For Mozambique, they are in the familiar red and black. They'll be attacking the left of your picture. Lesotho are in the blue and white. They will be attacking the right of your picture. Well, he was crucial in the win against Mauritius. Again, but then again, many will look at Mauritius and look at Mozambique and maybe argue that you are talking 2 very different types of animals in the way of opponents that you will be facing. Well, for Lesotho, the end result is what they're looking for, which will be the same. A win against both will mean a great statement in the group stages of this year's COSAFA Cup. Mozambique finding the nice touches here with the likes of Joao on this near side. Space on this near side, beautifully spotted, and a lovely ball. Great first touch as well, as the defending is as solid as one would expect from Danito, operating in the left back position with the number 3 on his back. Next here, out on the right side, wearing the number 2. Of course, just down the line from Exer is Nelson, who will be looking to push on, and at times allow the defender to push on ahead of him. Down the line then on the overlap. Here's Dario. Fouls in what seems a good area, and I'll add to that with pointing out, of course, that the wind is a bit of a factor here, Sean. The distance enough with the wind at your backs to possibly trouble the keeper here.
But it will have to be measured to perfection, because a little bit of power will send that boy skyrocketing into the skies.
So Dayo, who's already found the back of the nets for Mozambique. They are standing over this. In fact, it's Dario as well as Joao there to stand over it. The way they're shaped up, it looks as though they'll be looking for a teammate with a run on the far side. That's going for goal. Keeper gets his body nicely behind it to not only deal with the slight curl, but the bounce as well.
The bounce. And earlier on, it was raining, and it was difficult for those goalkeepers that played in that early game because the pitch was very wet. But maybe a little bit drier with the wind blowing as well. It has helped the dryness. So maybe Rihanna here didn't have the trouble that those goalkeepers would have had.
Well, we have been spoiled in the way of crowds. In the time we've spent out in Umlazi, bit of a shame to come to KwaMashu at a time when the weather is being what it is. I can tell you there is a group of supporters that have come out here and are, of course, making their presence felt. We will try and identify them for you and see which of these two nations they're behind. To remember, in the earlier game in Umlazi, Lesotho did have a group of supporters that seemed to be a traveling bunch, but they certainly were loud and proud.
But I can tell you from now that from what I spotted earlier was that those very same fans are back at it again from Lesotho.
Ah, nice to see. Of course, in the battle of the fans, none have stood out more than those from Malawi, who really had a lovely time and a party, a whale of it, out in Umlazi at the Kings Wellington Stadium over the last few days since the start of the tournament. If you are just joining us for the first time, it's worth pointing out that we visit KwaMashu and the Princess Makoko Stadium for the first time today. Already this venue bringing not only the weather but drama in the earlier result. Mauritius getting the better of Angola. 1-0 the scoreline, then early goal scored, then they hang on for dear life.
Just go on maybe and preempt to the viewers in as far as what will happen tomorrow in those last games of the group. They'll be played at the same time in different venues.
Surely will be. Keeping in mind it will be the last of the group matches, so to keep things fair, they'll be kicking off at the same time, which will be at 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock, but the 3 o'clock kickoff will be for Group A. And at the 6 o'clock kickoff will be for the matches in Group B, which then means the day after that, which is Wednesday, we will be bringing just one kickoff time, which is 3 o'clock, where two matches will be taking place in different venues here in the Kingdom of the Zulu.
So Group B matches.
Kickoff at 6 in the evening tomorrow.
But trying to bring in the factor of the rest period in between from the last game that they played. Group A will have had the normal 2 days, but Group A will only have today as a rest, and they'll be back at it tomorrow, which will have a big impact in as far as recovery is concerned. I'm always thinking that you can get away with the second game from a tournament like this, but when it gets to the third, the legs start feeling the impact of the 2 games in between. So worse off that Group B is playing, has only got a day or so to rest.
Actually, it's a good point you make. In your past conversations with some of the coaches, they've made it clear that they've already used up so many players. We've seen large numbers of changes being made. Earlier on, we were in a match where 7 changes were made to our starting lineup. So it's not like there's been a great number of players that have been rested in the 2 rounds of matches that we've had so far.
Group C will be no different either. Only tomorrow is a rest, and just how many of those players will have recovered from the injuries? I'm talking Lesotho now, because they'll be playing on Wednesday.
Now, Lesotho first being to attack, they nearly got it in behind the defense here on this near side, and well, they have to quickly focus on the defense now as Mozambique push on, and that's a good challenge. Nicely done on the defensive end then by Mohashani. Had to drop back and then wearing the number 11 jersey to assist defensively. I beg your pardon, it was Malan who came up with that challenge earlier on, wearing the 17 on his back rather than the man wearing the number 11. Then you remember one of the two changes made to the starting lineup from a Lesotho point of view. Bonde plays for Ferroviário de Beira. Came in as a second half substitute in the last match against the Angolans to good effect, minus finding the win for them. Pulled in far posts, keeper had it covered. Pushing forward here on this near side. With the ball in is Danito. He plays for Desportivo de Songo. In fact, there are 3 players, make that 4, actually 5, that play for De Songo in this starting 11. Oh, the big news, of course, that's coming during the course of the day from a Southern African perspective. This will affect the entire continent, or southern part of the continent, William Shongwe. You discussed it a little bit earlier. Elias Pelembe, Dominguez, the club in the news that's come through today that he signed for is Desportivo de Songo. And that's huge news for a man who's what now, 40 years of age, Shongwe?
Yes. Big contract at that. And the benefits are obviously the other that might have attracted him to join the team.
Current champions.
But you can't mention them on air. You can't mention those benefits on air because it's just they might attract a lot of trouble for him. But the man is going to be taken care of. Yes.
Wouldn't be the gentlemanly thing to do.
But it's important, I mean, for a player that has given so much of his life to the game and dedicated himself into high level of performance throughout his career.
Still at 40 to be making that sort of move says a lot as to the appreciation he has received and still gets out in Mozambique. Certainly is a man who has done a lot for Southern African football and putting it on the map. When you consider the clubs he's played for, the effect they've had in their own leagues and on the continent as well.
There's a fair bonus to that. He's also going to be leading the team in the nation's final in Cote d'Ivoire come early next year. So imagine at that age you're still playing and earning good money, and also you've been rewarded with the armband.
Now, Lesotho moving the bounce, taking their time about things here. Malani is the captain. The captain. Malani again, right forward here. Bit of a heavy pass, but they'll rescue the situation.
A bit more like they started against Mauritius in the way that they kept the ball defensively, recycling it beautifully and waiting for the right moments to play it forward. But I don't think it'll be as easy as that because Mozambique's a little bit more disciplined.
Nicely done here on this near side. Mukashani through the legs, keeping it moving. Lesotho looking to build on that as Bereng moves it up wide to the far side. Now, 3 getting into the box here. Look to keep it alive. Now the ball in. So forward push Mozambique here. Quick on the transition. Option with the movement on this near side. Plus he runs straight down the middle. A shot from range. Had the keeper concerned. Man, that power on it.
Beside the power, swinging away from his path, it's not like he had to wait and allow the ball to come to him. He had to shuffle across very quickly, use his body well to deflect the ball away from goal.
Well, Dario is the man that struck it. Again, there's that difficulty level of having to dive to the side and deal with the bounce of the ball as well. So, Dario with the latest chance, best chance for the Mozambicans just yet. One of the players that I spoke of, what, 5 is it in the starting lineup that played for Desportiva de Songo. Again, the coach is joining us to sign the club that recently signed Elias Pelembe Dominguez, as he is affectionately known out in Mozambique. Some of the lessons we've over the years, especially when I say we, is for those of us that were young in the game back in the day, working alongside Gleason, who of course has years of experience. We knew him as Pelembe, then he would come and teach the lesson of Dominguez and how he's Dominguez. In fact, no, it's not really his real name, but that's how they refer to him in Mozambique, like the Brazilians do with the nicknames of, oh, is that how it works in Mozambique? Then it's the same in Angola as well, same in some of the northern African countries. Egypt is one, where you might read Abu Tricker's name, which has 6 or so words, and not finding Abu Tricker there, but he's known as Abu Tricker, just as an example.
I'm with you.
Good movement here. Those of us that have for years held at least in high regard are grateful for the lessons over the years. He's, of course, amongst those with you alongside him that were the first to pay attention to the COSAFA Cup from a commentary point of view, year after year as it grew. Right at the beginning,
Listen,
late 90s.
I'm one of the few that also will be entirely grateful for what you see or hear of me today. It's Mark Listen that opened up the window for me. And that's a story, a big story for another day. And you will have the privilege to hear it, but others will have to read about it.
Now, Lesotho on the up and up. Okay, good movement off the ball, and unfortunate not to have kept his footing then as he was breaking into the box. Good drive here on this near side by Joao.
Speed wobble. Once the game gets a little bit high-paced, getting to that thing third, there's all kinds of obstructions that sometimes forces errors of this nature.
Well, it's kept alive here. And well, he was looking for kind of back, and in the end, it's Lesotho that don't only save that situation defensively, but could hit with a counter-attack. No foul. That's a good ball, good movement, good job in staying on side. Yeah, difficult angle, and the keeper saved it. It could so easily have fallen into the path of a Mozambican then, but didn't. They're creating moments, Mozambique.
But these moments are coming from a ball, a position given away by Botswana with those wobbling moments. You know, when you attack with such speed and you lose it, you are found wanting because the defenders are all scattered all over because you're on the front foot, and that's what Mozambique has used to good effect.
Lesotho's turn to get onto the front foot. Ball played in, header! Oh, that was beautiful, beautiful football, minus the end result, which is the goal then. Whizzed over the bar then, and nothing wrong with the attack. Maybe a little unlucky for Tabantu that he didn't get that on the wrong side of the bar, or the right side of the bar.
Listen, he attacked that central part of the field beautifully, but look at just the caution and the calmness that comes from the delivery, just to find him. A little unlucky that he doesn't dive high enough. This is the earlier chance that Moerane got a good hand to it to put it up into the far side.
Well,
hey, it's end to end.
Yeah, I was going to say it's turned into a great game of football. There's chances on either side, both having a proper go at it. Hey, what the earlier delivery though from Mokashani onto the header from Tabansu also needs to be highlighted. That was a peach of a ball.
Here's another build-up that Botswana Lesotho loses ball position, and it's Mozambique that has a chance to build up.
That's done by Mukashani in keeping it alive. Lesotho now look to burst forward. Runners on the left and right. Keeping it on the left for the time being as men look to push in towards the final third.
But you'll notice something. Every time Lesotho goes forward, the defensive line stays too far back. And look at the gap in that middle.
Yep.
That is where Mozambique has come in very handy in exploiting that gap.
Again, good pace here, Mukashani. Defender watching him every step of the way. A little isolated, but how quick to arrive. Belling. Nalani. That's a Tunza. Operating a grind on the left. They are playing a good brand of football, Lesotho, but both these nations are playing a brand that's easy on the eye. And Lesotho picking up from where they left off, really. In the first game, in the brand they've clearly grown very comfortable at.
Even better is that for me today, the intensity is slightly higher than they played against Mauritius in that first game.
Now, good work to win it back here and keep it alive for Lesotho. They were hoping for a set piece. Nothing wrong with the physicality in the challenge then. All happening so fast. Both sides are struggling to hold on to it. Throw into Lesotho. Speed really is key for Lesotho in those attacking areas out wide.
But again, look at that defensive line. Look at this gap here in your picture.
I mean, on the left of your picture.
This is how are you going to close the action there? So the Mozambique pick up position and start attacking. You'll be found wanting. The space in between the midfielders and the last line is just too far wide.
That's 20 minutes gone by here. Sorry, Chongwe. Goal line known. Both sides have created chances. Very even game here between Mozambique and Lesotho.
Talking about distances, very important in football. Talking that different lines that you get into the game. The pockets of spaces that can be used by the opposition. All depends on just how those distances are kept.
Mozambique, the only side with shots on target thus far. There's an offside call here against Tabansu. It's interesting watching him play with Fotwani just behind him in the opening match. They've gone with Berlin this time around. The experienced campaign, of course, both as an international and just his all-round career. Berlin has been around the block and then some. Fotwani is someone who can come in off the bench and offer something a little bit different in what lies behind Tabansu's creativity and attacking intent as well.
What I'm not sure of about Bereng is just what his conditioning is. I mean, there was a season that I don't think he played much, and as a result, that's why last season he didn't feature in the Lesotho side in the national team.
Remember him down in Toronto as part of the last Leopard side. I think they played in the top flight of South African football. Exciting side as well. It's always an exciting time when you make the trips down to the north of South Africa, but being part of that team.
And before that, he featured for the original Morocco Swallows.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been around.
Space on the near side. Danito. So often players in this match have looked to take the ball at full pace, and just missing it by an inch or a little stumble at the last moment means that they lose out on the chance to maybe break the lines if they can take it in their stride. But it's a point you touched on a little bit earlier where they're trying to get onto it at full tilt. And if they get it right, there could be problems for the defenders.
But often, more than not, is that that wobble effect comes into action.
Contribute towards that. A slight misdirection of the pass leads to that wobble effect. Overrunning it just a bit as the runner.
Listen.
A little nudge from the defender. When you're moving at that pace,
anything at high speed, every now and then will wobble. Takes the slightest hump.
Well, there's a man that's down here, just outside of the box, and that's, I believe, what Rani is pointing towards here. And the reason for that is Melke is getting a huge talking to here from the referee from Malawi, because well, while we had our eyes on the keeper picking the ball up, just in front of the keeper, the contact was enough to send Mkwanazi to ground, but nothing too serious. He'll be able to continue. Just in case the change was necessary, they are already at Tsepo Tolwani warming up. Mkwanazi? Yes, we are in the kingdom of the Zulu, but this particular Mkwanazi is very much here representing the nation of Lesotho.
What's the whole point?
If you look into his family tree, you might find it stretches as far as this part of the world. But he originating from Lesotho and very much from Lesotho. Also, when you look at his first name, it helps seal the deal. Mutumelo, very Sotho name, although it's a very Zulu sounding surname. Get me?
Well, just say it. It sounds so much more Swazi.
And we're going to go back and start arguing Dlamini and the origins of Dlamini, so let's just end it right there, Showman.
Don't set yourself up for disaster, because you mentioned another surname that is clearly.
Oh, really? Right, for the sake of the argument, let's say Mkwanazi could be from this region. It also could be from a different kingdom altogether, right?
Say the kingdom.
Eswatini.
Yes.
I really want to look into his family tree.
And even if anybody has an idea out there in Lesotho that is probably watching this game and has or is aware of the origins of Mkwanazi, please, at William Shongwe, you can send us. That's it. So we'll be able obviously to clarify this meter, because I seem to be have a problem here. Bena is not too convinced that.
I reckon you and I can take this one step further ourselves. and just go up to them and have a chat.
Donkey.
I know you'll have to do so. I'll just have to wake up as early as you do in the morning. Now, hold in. By the time breakfast is over, William is friends with everybody at breakfast.
It's the only time I can be resourceful and meet some of these guys. You'll be amazed at just some of the information that you can pick up from down there.
Yep, it's our duty. And we'll get to the bottom of this huge inquiry between ourselves. This tug of war with this particular Mkwanazi. Which kingdom does he belong to? Half an hour just about gone by here. So, you're right. It's the traveling bunch from Lesotho that have braved the conditions here in Durban and come down to KwaMashu to get behind the team. Last time they did this, Lesotho went on to win. And the winds, of course, and the cold conditions, being from Lesotho, they won't be strangers to cold conditions. We're talking about snow in South Africa, and, well, snow to them, well, anything but a chicken wing.
It's the middle of summer for them. I'm sure they're looking around them. It's like, what's all these people wearing jackets and jerseys? What's wrong with them? Are they sick?
Where is everybody? Why didn't they come out to the stadium, you know? Type thing. Keep in mind, the tickets are free for those of you that are around the area and can get to KwaMashu. There's football to be played over the next few days here that will be quite crucial. The intensity of the games will increase as well. So we conclude the group stages and move on to the semi-finals and finals. Funny how these tournaments start, and it seems the finish line is so far away in the beginning because we've got so many matches to get through. Midway through the tournament, you start seeing the finish line, and it seems it comes quicker than you imagined. We're already at the end of the group stage. The semi-finals are waiting us in a couple of days' time. Or just over that.
And we're still here.
Yep. Now, ball in, and well, there was a touch on the far side that wasn't all too convincing, but encouraging for Lesotho that they were able to get the touch off the set piece. Again, when you look at the top goal scorers of all time, Seda, who scored in the first match, now has 7 goals, sitting 2 goals ahead of Tabansu, or yes, Tabansu and Tlale. Zwinyane on 3 goals, Kamela on 2, along with Hutlang, Maile, Mukhalane, and Muso. Whole host of players that are on 1 goal that have scored for Lesotho in the COSAFA Cup.
Cancelling each other, these two teams. Control of that back of the middle, I think is where teams are maybe strongest when they don't have the ball. They seem to be defending that one well, which doesn't afford the opposition the chances well to need the ball in between to find that last final pass to take a shot at goal.
Did go 13 games in what was their longest run without a win from August 2000 to July 2008. 13 games stretched, William, without a win. 8 years for Lesotho in the COSAFA Cup, that is. Longest unbeaten run, 8 games. From 2008 to 2013, that's the brightest patch, the greenest patch in games where no one could get the better of them. Keep in mind the times you do lose through penalties, but officially it goes down as a draw since it ended as a draw officially.
Take it into account, Sizmo Ben. Let's maybe look at this action and see how far it can go.
I'll try to the near side. They've got numbers in the box awaiting the ball in. Good goalkeeping.
See, every now and then a country decides to go through the rebuilding stage. And this is when they bring in a very youthful side to compete at this level, with intentions to give them a chance to grow and get the necessary experience to compete at a high level. So during those years, the results aren't forthcoming and are poor. But on paper, it won't quite tell the story. It will look as a bad result. But I've seen that happening over and over. I mean, Mozambique has done that. When the Liverpool defender was their coach, the former Liverpool defender, with that.
Oh yes,
yes,
with the peroxide hair.
That's right.
I see who you're talking about.
So then that was one for them. And Angola also went through that very same process of rejuvenating the squad. I mean, Bafana Bafana has done that over and over in preparing for different competitions going forward. So
ball in, well defended.
Xavier, something like that.
Yep. Ball in, yes, a chance! Through the legs! And it's Lesotho that opened the scoring. Well, they've had their moments. And it's that man Mokashani that pops up again to find the back of the net. He's second of the tournament.
It's a good goal, but the movement before the goal was scored was excellent as well, in the way that they created good width on the left-hand side and the ball was crossed in. But now, where Mokashani comes from is his anticipation where the ball is more likely to land. He didn't stay on the wide side, on the right. He attacked the box, and that ball landed to him perfectly. And an easy goal it was, but he still needed to adjust his foot. Oh, Pereng. So calmly done to set him on the way before he could cross the hole. That's why, even if he doesn't have the legs, but he has the brilliance, Pereng, to see the spaces and opportunities in front of him to lay those passes. The number 10. Okay, number 5 jersey, but position number 10.
Yeah. And Pereng with a key pass. And it's Mokashani with the conversion here. He's second of the tournament. Scored the opener in the game against Mauritius. Scores the opener here against Mozambique. And Lesotho, as well as Mauritius, are making quite a statement here today in as far as Group C and the opponents they're facing in Mozambique and Angola. They did again, Lesotho. 10 to go until the end of the first half, but that's been terribly impressive for them. It's just the way they've gone about business in showing belief in their way and staying true to their game. And well, the defender for Liverpool and former Portugal defender as well that coached Mozambique, Abel Xavier.
Xavier, yeah. So
is
he,
the man you were speaking of earlier.
and you know what he did very well was when he arrived, he called all the coaches from all the teams in the league and asked them to allow certain players. Remember, the COSAFA doesn't fall in the FIFA calendar, so he begged for at least 2 players from every team to be able to put together, and it was agreed, and it came with the benefit of developing these players into the future, and he got that. And so at that stage nobody expected much because of that situation. He made it clear that it's a build-up stage.
He was named the coach of Mozambique in January 2016, Shongwa. So that's the period in question when Javier was the man who took charge of Mozambique. Having taken part in January 2016, they of course, did come through to the COSAFA Cup in 2016, Shongwe. They got as far as the quarterfinals that year.
Which was remarkable.
Yeah.
With all the unknowns and young players from all around the country. So it was not a case of getting the best. It was a case of each team giving him a few players. So the selection was spread all around the teams.
Well, the City fans will want their side to take this lead into the halftime break. Now we are fast approaching the last 5 minutes of the half. Good movement to the far side here for the Mozambicans as they look to keep it alive through João. Danito working it infield. They are hoping to play through this Lesotho side, which has kept the shape well. But they're doing a good job of finding the space through the lines here. The Dario heavily involved in the creative bits in midfield. Ball across already here from Lesotho as they deal with the danger. Now, ball straight through down the middle. No issues there for Lesotho. Danito, one of the best of passes to have to deal with, so he's lost out then. No thanks to the quality of pass from Dario. Hopeful, very hopeful attempt from almost an impossible distance. At the angle to that, and it would need to be extremely special. Wind or no wind behind your back.
Mother the man in the middle.
Wow, the song they're singing out in the stands with him, Shong, I haven't heard in a good number of years. I know you're familiar with it in your times and travels down to Bloemfontein. Over the years, many of us who've made that trip will be familiar with those, or if you've been in the stadium and the Celtic fans got onto it. Tibagamo.
The first stage in Lesotho, obviously.
Yep.
The closest.
It's sang in Soto, so yeah, its origins, one could say, come from Lesotho. Certainly is a war cry. So the challenge then on João is okay, able to continue. Again, distance is a factor.
I'm thinking about it, but it's that type of distance that will allow the ball to go over the wall and still trouble the goalkeeper, but he has lots of time to be able to judge it. But never say never. It's that type of distance where crackers can be scored.
Yes, hit it. Whoa! Straight at the keeper who made the right decision in choosing not to hold on.
I kind of like expected that will be a bullet, which is why Moerane didn't bother to try and hold on to it with the laces. Oh man, oh man.
Tell you what, either side of him, and he may have been having problems then, some serious problems, Moerane. Lovely the communication from Moerane in chasing his defenders out of that box as soon as the ball was cleared. They came out in a flash, the men in blue and white, of course, under his instruction, forcing the Mozambicans back as well.
It's very important because you can make a clearance like that and a Mozambican player can pick it up here and launch it back into the area. And if you didn't clear those lines, you can get yourself in trouble. So the higher as a goalkeeper can help clear them. You save yourself the trouble of having that ball coming back to you immediately.
In the background, you are hearing someone chatting away. It's not from the Lesotho bench. In fact, it's the Lesotho goalkeeper who's throwing out instructions at his side as to what's happening on the left, on the right, behind that defense. Well, so vocal. You can hear him in the background, and you think that's coming from maybe the benches. No, the whole time it's the goalkeeper. Well done. Now, good movement on the far side here. Poland, it's a great chance. Oh, the head has gone just wide. Dario, I believe it was, arriving here on this near side. Had to keep his eye on the ball and kept going low and low on him, so chose to dive into the header. Oh, it's a quality attack this from the Mozambicans. Lovely ball. Defender may just have done enough to put him off with his arrival in as he made contact with the ball. Serious chance then for the Mozambicans. That's good work to win it back in a great area then to quickly get onto the front foot then. Now, we'll over to the far side. Foul. Lesotho will look to end this half on the front foot. Oh, they'd love a second goal though before heading off into the half-time break. Now, flags up, offside. Well, the rain has started to come down here, and it's not falling straight down. You can see with the wind, the effect the wind is having on the rain is coming across the field. The wind blowing from right to left of your picture, so it is extremely wet out there. So things change in as far as the conditions from the way we started this first half to the way we ended. But we ended, most importantly, with Lesotho taking the lead into the half-time break here. A well-created and, in the end, well-taken chance sees Lesotho through. Mogashani leading by just the 1-0 here. And Mozambique, to their credit, haven't given up on the fight here. They've given almost as good as they've gotten when they've looked good for a chance at goal. When I stood between them and the back of the net. It's a good contest. It's a great contest. Oh no, it's been a thoroughly entertaining day where we had a great match earlier on. We got another great match right now in Group C as the scramble for places continues. At halftime, it's Lesotho leading Mozambique with a scoreline of 1-0. Well, there you have it. It's Lesotho that lead Mozambique with a 1-0 scoreline as things get rather interesting in Group C of the HOLLYWOODBETS COSAFA Cup of 2023. Good game of football we've had in this first 45. Good competitive edge between these two sides here. And it's Mozambique that were the first to get onto the front foot. That's a good save. Could so easily have fallen into the path of a Mozambican player, but solid stuff then from Moerane. And immediately after this, Lesotho went on an attack of their own, but at a moment of threat from the Mozambicans. Now, Bereng involved. And how's this for a header? Flies just over. And Estabantu looking to score his 6th goal for Lesotho at the COSAFA Cups over the years. Bereng, Mokashani, Tabantu. Now, keep in mind, those names will play a huge role in the goal that is to come a little bit later on. Mokashani, Bereng, lovely movements here. And the ball across finds Mokashani at hand to tap the zone at Bereng with a brilliant little ball for the third man running. That defense has no answer for this build-up here from Lesotho. It's beautifully done. Safali with the ball across. Gets the assist whilst Mokashani gets the easy tap-in. Beautifully done by Lesotho. Then late in the half, with the wind playing a serious factor and backing the Mozambicans, it's Moerane who chooses not to hold on then. The rain has to come down not too long after this moment. Nice 1-2 on the far side here. The Mozambicans, they get to the byline, the ball in. Header just wide. They were looking for the great ending to the first half then, and it's Dario whose header goes wide of the mark. And while Mozambique will go into the half-time break trailing, unable to find that all-important equalizer. Oh, there you have it then. It's a tight affair here, with Mozambique only having 2 more shots on target than Lesotho, and not too much more in the way of ball possession over Lesotho. Mozambique will feel they are still very much in it. It'll be interesting to see how it's all concluded after the second 45.
With me is Mr. Kiba Mohanyane, who is the executive member of COSAFA and also the chairman of referees in COSAFA. Mr. Kiba, you must be very happy with the proceedings of the tournament so far in terms of the referees' performances.
Absolutely. You know, the referees are doing well and there's nothing to complain about so far. They are doing an excellent job.
And obviously taking a leaf from the reaction of the coaches on the bench, it's been a very, very, very calm, which is a big surprise, but it's alongside your opinion that they're doing very well. But furthermore, tell me, what is it that COSAFA is doing to uplift the standard of refereeing in as far as the national teams and all the other regional competitions?
Our referees have been taken through the process in their respective countries. Even here, as they come before the tournament, we have a week long of training. Felix, the referees manager, takes them through the paces for a week before the start of the tournament, in preparation for this tournament. So you can see they are now like an oiled machine, so everything is flowing successfully for them.
But I see also is that some of the best referees in the region are retiring and so on. Is there enough coming from underneath that will fill up their places?
That is what we are focusing on. You know, I mean, development. Development is key to us. Yes, of course, most of our old referees are now retiring, like you are saying, but development is there to replace those that are retiring. So it's not a challenge for us.
So alongside Felix, who else, because I'm looking at him as well, how long is he going to continue to do this job? And is there enough in as far as other referees that you look at to help develop the referees?
My brother, the baton will never get lost. Felix is doing everything in his power to get people around him from all over the region so that they should be there when he is no longer, able. So that everybody should be in the know-how of what Felix has been doing all along.
I think for me, all I can say is congratulations to COSAFA, because sometimes the focus is on the field of play, and yet there's so much happening outside of the field of play as far as the preparation of the referees.
True. You'll agree with me that COSAFA in recent years has become a breeding ground for the continent and, of course, for the world. FIFA and CAF now feature mostly referees from this region. So you'll agree with me that we are doing a mouthful here.
Mr. Kiba, thank you so much for your time and all the best.
You're welcome, my brother. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, they're enjoying the football here. They should be. It's good quality football that's on show in cold weather as we look forward to the second half on the other side of this. It's Lesotho that lead Mozambique by scoreline of just 1-0 here as we get ready for the second half and get ready to round off the second round of matches ahead of the very last round in Group C, which will be in a few days' time here. Lesotho looking to maintain their 100% win record. They scored the goal that matters so far. Can they, at the very least, deny the men in your picture, the men in red and black, from finding one goal here and leveling matters? Or is it to be a huge comeback that's worth noting from Mozambique as they look for their first win of this year's tournament? Mozambique get things rolling in this second half, attacking the goal to the right of your picture, whilst Lesotho in the blue and white will attack the goal to the left. We saw chances created by both these nations, great chances of course, and a superb first half of football where they're both getting at each other. What we are hoping for is more of the same, please, here at the second half as they start the second half the way they started the first, meaning no changes have been made to the starting 11s.
And you know that second half performance is always a catchy affair for the team that is trailing. In this case, it is Mozambique who hasn't won a game. So Martini, the coach, will have said quite a few words in trying to inspire these players to see if they can get something worse off that they're trailing.
I don't know if you noticed that ball was played in. Then again, we talked about the rain and the wind being a huge factor. Mozambique up against the wind. That ball played in then was held up in the sky for Murani to have a comfortable pickup. So the men in blue and white now going onto the front foot have the wind at their backs. And as you can see, that ball played into the far side, very nearly running out of play then. Good pace to keep it alive even with the aid of the wind.
It's bucketing down again. And so I'm sure these two teams will now struggle with the conditions in the field, with the ball skidding, with passes misplaced, which can lead easily into mistakes.
Good game of football this show in the first half, so enjoyable. With the way they went about business, you could tell Mozambique came to play. Same can be said for Lesotho, both sides believing in their way.
But you gotta appreciate the disciplines defensively by both sides up until that moment when Lesotho found the opening. Speed of attack was key in that case because it didn't give much of a time or chance for Mozambique to be able to get the numbers defensively to defend.
Pull over to that left side with Danito. Supported by the likes of Dagio. Of course, the next goal so crucial in this match. We say that a lot as commentators, but it is the absolute truth when you consider how it could just completely take the game away from Mozambique or bring them back into it, including the momentum it might give them to go on and look for a winner. Key example is Eswatini against Namibia. Namibia leading 1-0. Eswatini find the equalizer within 5 minutes, have written enough of a wave to go on and find what's the winning goal. So much goes with that win. If it's Lesotho they get the 2-goal cushion. May very well knock the fight out of Mozambique. If it's Mozambique that get it, could start the fight back.
Now, my only concern about Lesotho is that when you look at how Mozambique play, in their first game in particular, that even though they were trailing, they didn't give up. They continued to push the longest before they could break the ice. And that's the same edge that they bring into this game. The call from the goalkeeper is Sheba Ball. You know, after a foul, you've got to turn around and be able to face what, even if you're still recovering to your positions, but keep your eyes on the ball.
Impressed, Ramon.
With what?
The fact that you understood that.
Season Bennett. I'm over 30-something years in this country, please.
Throughout our travels, you're comfortable where it's the Guni speaking languages, you know, when Natal you're comfortable, when we are in the Cape you're comfortable, Whenever we're in Bloemfontein, I've never heard you flex your. Whenever we're in like Rustenburg or the Northwest, I've never heard you flex any of those languages. So the fact that you understand comes from a seriously like honest place.
Thank you.
That I'm impressed. I'm thinking all these years I've been talking about you behind your back, thinking you don't understand when I'm speaking Sotho. That means you knew exactly what I was saying. Then again, I think of the people you played alongside, different languages. I mean, once you spend any time in Vansana Panyani, you have to understand a bit of Sotho.
No. That one was talking too deep.
Yeah.
Sotho, Tswana.
You have to
It was
understand
my
a bit.
beginning stages of being in this country. I didn't hear words.
Good pressing from the front.
But what this for me is still a concern.
The gap.
Yes.
For those that weren't with us in the first half, let's just break it down, William Shongwe. There's a huge gap that's very apparent in the Lesotho play when they go forward into the attack. The midfielders and strikers push on. The defenders don't necessarily close the gap that then develops between the different departments, and that's something William Shongwe just can't ignore. It eats away at every time he sees it.
Because if you get a good team that can exploit the space in the middle, it means you can be attacked right in the middle.
That's good hard running the ball in then, and problems for the Mozambique defense, discomfort caused, but they were able to deal with it. Again, that pace from Lesotho out wide causing problems.
Another
coming in. Shot from range. Will the flag go up? The answer is yes, offside. Well, he's looking to become the tournament goal scorer outright. If he scores another, the man in your picture, bringing Mokashane. I think he one of two players that have scored 2 goals so far in this year's championships. Strange effect with the rain. Can't quite see it from the angle we're showing it to you. It is falling down, that's the thing. It's not necessarily falling down because of the wind and the strength of the wind. It's almost falling sideways.
And that's the type of rain or drops that gets into your eyes.
Yeah. A lot of play on the far side. Only time I've seen it to this effect was a couple of Decembers ago in Lesotho, funny enough, for the Region 5 games, where a few of the games had to be called off on one particular day because of the rain falling in this fashion. Now, man down. Look at that from the goalkeeper. Murani. Guys, stay focused. The injured party will get the help he needs. Stay focused. Keep your mind on the prize at hand, and that's leadership.
That's leadership,
That's
exactly.
leadership.
Because you know what, when you're getting yourself engaged in matters of this nature, it doesn't help you lose focus instead. You start focusing on the wrong things, and yet you got a game to play. That's what the runner is trying to do here.
You know where he kills me? He pulls his teammates back. When they all go back, then he'll sneak over to the opponent and then throw a word and say, I'm not and then go back to his teammates and say, no, keep away from them, keep away from them. In the end, he's lost interest. He's gone back to his goalkeeping position. Let's come back again. My chance. We've got a game to win. No point getting in the arguments. Don't get drawn into it. Look at him. He's still giving them a pep talk here. Not that he's not concerned about the teammate that's injured, but there is nothing they can do about it, except let the medical department deal with that. They can't let the emotions get the better of them either. In a game where there's still so much football to be played, love to see that from the goalkeeper. Now outside of your picture, he's made his way back to his goal. He had come a long way to get involved in all of that.
It's changed. He's only trying to get himself warm by running all the way to the center. He's clever. It's bucketing down. I mean, he's Winston already tackled rain. It can be very cold.
Well, there's the signal to the bench. I think it's to say, look, we'll be able to carry on here. They won't need to make the change. I'm not too sure if I read that right. It's closing down from the front, late challenge. That's great attacking play, just in chasing everything and forcing the mistake that.
On the borderline of the 18 yards area.
Now, just show you the effect of the rain. It's falling sideways, from left to right, from south to north. It's not falling straight down here. And that's the best we could do in just showing you the effects of the rain. Like I said, the last time I saw anything like that was in Lesotho at the Region 5 games. Funny enough, Lesotho's here now playing, and here we are, Sean.
What are you trying to
I'm
say?
not saying nothing, I'm I'm just pointing out the obvious facts. And it was cold then in December, extremely cold in Lesotho. Extremely cold. Unbelievably cold. And it was raining, it was this sort of rain, winds.
You can't break them in open play. Set pieces are always a way to try.
Fall in. That was, you can't ask for more than that.
No.
You can't.
The anticipation was there, but I think was it the defender who was just only a second late to connect with the cross. He was there, he ran for it, made an effort to get there.
Oh, you can't.
But not quick enough.
Ask for more than that. Keeper can't come for it. Wow, with the quality ball in. At the end of that tour, the entire team was sick in Lesotho. Such were the conditions in December. Similar to this today.
But obviously now you got the cover of the commentary box.
I had it then. In fact, we're covering the COSAFA under 17s then, by the way, Willie. Zambian ladies in that tournament a couple of years ago in Lesotho, unbelievable. The Zambian youngsters, unbelievable, including the Mozambican team that was out there. The under 17 team that then got the promotion to the under 20s that I saw in action last year at the end of the year in Eswatini. Both sets of youngsters that had moved up from that under 17 team that was in action in Lesotho. Slightly grown, more grown now, younger men rather than being boys. And I tell you what, Mozambique is working on a few good players. Same can be said for Zambia, not just from a boys' point of view, but the ladies as well. Again, one has to give credit to COSAFA in the way of developing the game now, reaching out to kids as young as 15 and younger, competing at this COSAFA level as the keeper picks up comfortably. These, of course, the results of all of the work that's put in at ground level when we come to the senior challenge, Shongwe. But you spoke earlier to one of the coaches that also is part of the traveling batch of coaches that go to all of these different tournaments, including the schools championships, which were in Malawi at the end of last year, rating the new trends in how we play, and Sweetness, whom we spoke to at halftime, had the joy of being around her and learning from her and what the coaches are looking for, what the teams, what the trends are in Southern Africa. It's so much work, including the media teams, that COSAFA, of course, puts into it. That it's so easy to think it's just football.
Yep.
But there's journals that come from Mozambique, from Zambia, and we're all one big family in exchanging thoughts and knowledge on all of the nations and so on.
Maybe let me just bring one factor that would apply to me directly. I remember in 1981, I was able to attend an under-17 tournament in Mozambique, where I met some of the other juniors from other national teams, and who grew to play for the senior team. I'm talking Japhet Mparutse, the short cat of Zimbabwe. And I'm talking Aristides Azaza of Mozambique, who later came to South Africa and played for 36 Stars. I mean, just at least Sterling Dundumo, may his soul rest in peace, was a part of that team from Zimbabwe. I mean, it was an honor to later see these guys playing for the national teams and meeting again in the same field at a higher level. So these junior national teams just opens up the space and the view and the inspiration to continue to apply your trade and to a higher level. Who knows what can happen?
Reminds me of a conversation I had with Tinashe Ngomasha some years ago, where I asked him who's the toughest player he ever played against. Before he answered the question, he said no, but you must understand, the first time I played this guy, I was a kid as a junior international. And then we ended up playing seniors together against each other as internationals, but then ended up in the same team. So I said, who is it? He said, no, Chabupule or Mahlangu. But he said he knew of him as a junior international and already feared him then as a junior international. Change is being made here. It's a De Carvalho that will come on here as Mozambique. Well, need to find a way back into this match. Over an hour played.
He plays in the forward line, sometimes right at the top of the formation. And yes, they need a goal. They need a player like him. Mozambique, unfortunately, with all the ability that they do have, they unfortunately are playing in patches. The intensity levels, sometimes they drop. For a team that is trailing, you want to see a little bit more. And sometimes they even lose the constructional passes into that thing there. Sometimes they look so ordinary that they play long passing in the hope of catching the front lines. The game is build-up play with intensity.
Yep. Actually funny you say that, and that when they have looked good and they maintained it for most of the first half, that intensity and that level that you're speaking of, going into the second, approaching the hour, where is it safe to say, Shongwe, it hasn't quite happened at the level at which it was for the most part in the first half. But the game has dropped a bit, tempo and otherwise. In
comparison to the first game, whereby they were able to maintain it. That's why Angola eventually broke down.
Yep. It's bucketing down now. If it was raining hard earlier, it's really coming down now. Falling, keepers will need to be extra careful with the amount of rain that's coming down now. Players as well coming in for the challenges will need to be careful. A few of them being put to sleep nice and easy.
Only to deliver a harmless ball. That was Mesha, the right fullback, who likes to go forward. Very experienced. I've seen him a number of times in this competition.
Space to turn into here, and running into trouble. Having the lead on their side, they sort of won't mind the game losing its tempo every now and then. What they will want to do is get together one or two attacks that will be of proper menace, using their speed out in the wide areas. Now, pull in. Not cleared properly. Could be problems here for Mozambique. And, well, creating their own problems at times.
In not being able to clear the ball effectively. Still about, 25 minutes remaining. Still a long time. I was beginning to think that maybe Lesotho will try to drop the tempo. Very concerned looks from that bench.
When the stress levels are so high, you don't care about the rain and getting wet. Pull in. Now, early ball forward here. Good chase on. Of course, it helps to chase everything here. And I'm trying to force an error that may, of course, see your side find an equalizing goal or a winning goal. If that's what it takes. In these sort of conditions, you never know. A mistake could be just one touch away. That could be crucial.
And we've seen so many of them.
Yep. They nearly getting it behind that defense.
Handball.
Well, remember, leading up to the end of the last game, just before 5 in the afternoon, there's a rainbow out. Things look to be clearing up. It looked as though we'd have clear weather going into the evening game. And well, here we are a few hours later, and it's bucketing down. And it's only getting stronger, the rain and the wind. Keep in mind, Mozambique are playing against the wind, so it's Lesotho with the wind in their backs with a set piece. When they pick up their pace and come at you at full pace at times, they can be a problem. The likes of Malani, the right back. Tabang Malani plays for LCS. He's the first showing of the tournament. Didn't play in the opening game. Now, ball in. Keeper's done well here. Strong fist to get it clear. Now, Mozambique will look to put together a bit of a counter attack here. Lesotho quick to get numbers back and behind the ball, forcing them backwards rather than forward, which works out perfectly for the men in blue and white. And taking up their shape, again, huge gap between the back four and midfield, William Shongwe. So it was evident a few moments ago.
At the time when they were able to win it back to try and force another, there were numbers, which is what made it difficult for Mozambique to come out. But now, the ball ran back to the defensive line. And at the same time, the challenge with that is you start missing on the support going forward. If you're to win the ball and try and play transition football, you will have no support from behind. That's what I'm talking about.
Now that looks a good ball, good movement. As the Mozambique try and get some numbers forward into the final third. Comfortably done. And getting it clear then. The Lesotho captain, Makepe, another that plays for LMPSFC. Both these sides getting a bit sloppy with it.
The ring is still going. I do feel like the team needs a whole lot more of him, because right now I think their possession football has not been the most effective, and there is one player that has the experience to know when to turn that one on and to try and safeguard that lead that they do have. The more you give away ball position, you're just exposing yourself to what the other team can do.
Well, Mozambique in need of goals here. And just looking at their history, the top over goal scorer at the COSAFA Cup, Tiko Bukwani, with 7 goals he scored at the COSAFA Cups. Same number as Asera for Lesotho. Asera has also scored 7 goals for Lesotho at the COSAFA Cups in his career. Show too much. Joao working hard in midfield. Then is the man that's fouled.
It was his ball, but he allowed that second touch to run a little bit too far ahead of him.
Biggest win ever for Mozambique in the COSAFA Cup, a 4-0 thrashing of Eswatini back in '97.
in Eswatini.
In Eswatini. Thanks, Willie. Clearly that left a mark.
Of course. When you talk about our scoreline, it's still very, very fresh in my mind.
Heaviest defeat for Mozambique, a 4-0 loss at the hands of Zimbabwe back in 2017. They've also beaten the likes of Tanzania as a guest team in 97 with a 3-0 scoreline. Big defeats 3-0 to South Africa, 4-0 to Zimbabwe. South Africa beating them 3-0 in 2001, Zimbabwe 4-0 in 2017. Again, we look forward to the day when we can trade blows, and the yellow card is shown here, but look forward to the day when Southern Africa can once again welcome Zimbabwe back to the COSAFA Cup. Martinho, the man shown the yellow card. Kamzi. Also dangerous. Again, wind in their back strong, This is much closer than the efforts we've seen so far on the day with the wind at their backs. Lesotho looking for goal number 2. Favored for a right-footed strike. Tabansu. Bereng. I believe are the men standing over it.
And Bereng has that ability about him. I don't think he's going to set it up for anybody. He's going to try and bend that over the wall.
It's Bereng. Yep, he was trying.
He went for power instead of trying to get a curl to the ball.
What's the word? Finesse? So he was looking for power instead of finesse, Strongman.
Yes, yes.
Which is a word that reminds us of a colleague. Used to love that word.
Gavin Hunt?
No, colleague. Well, Gavin is sort of a colleague, I guess. But from a broadcasting point of view.
Oh, okay. Yes.
One of the great directors of our time. From this region. Mr. Finesse himself.
Mambo.
Yeah.
And I know Gavin as well. Some of the words that he would use in order to describe a player that, you know what, he's got it, but he lacks finesse. He lacks quality. He lacks that top line about him.
Those in the good games. Mambo to be looking for finesse. Now, chance, yeah, with the movement on the near side. The communication between keeper and the defenders then. Away dangerously here by the Mozambicans, and well, the ball is played in and it's just out of reach for Tabanchu from Mamokhashani. Well, for Lesotho, all they need is one chance, created, converted, and you put it to bed now with so much time remaining, what, 15 minutes almost remaining? I'm wondering if the players from Mozambique have the same belief in them they had for much of the first half.
For me, that first game should give them an idea of the potential of a game like this, where they were led for the most part and bounced back in beautiful style. Might have been the goalkeeper's mistake that held the ball but not properly and let it drop, or in fact it was finished by somebody that applied pressure very hard.
Yeah, I remember now. Today, some could argue, is the underdog's day. Shot from range then, hoping to catch the keeper off his line. Some may have seen Mozambique as the favourites coming into this game, as others would have seen Angola as the favourites going into the Mauritius game. Mauritius scored first, held on. Lesotho didn't just hold on in this game, they played well, although they were the first to score, and are 15 minutes away from maintaining that 100% win record so far in this year's COSAFA Cup. Changes will be made here, and it's Lesotho to make them. So Bereng will make way. Spoke of what they have on the bench in what could be a secret weapon here in Lekhono Fotwani. He's waiting to come on here for Bereng. And also making way is Tabanchu. He will be replaced by Tumelo Maha. So the changes are right at the sharp end of the attack here for Lesotho.
Trying to keep the sharpness alive. You could see, as much as they were having quite a bit of the ball, but still the legs were missing, the high pressure. This is what you still need to defend from a very higher ground. Just to keep the edge still a bit higher out there. And fresh legs can only do that. And I mentioned, I was actually shocked that the ring still pretty much in the flow of play. And I thought to myself, wow. So for Twana, he can provide, he can produce the magic as well. He's got that ability about him. So it's a ploy that the coach is using to try and regain control of the ball and see if they can use some of the opportunities created forward.
Good work to keep it alive on the far side. Now, time will be a serious factor here. With Malawi, the first side to pick up 6 points yesterday in the group stage of Shongwe. Impressively doing so, having beaten the defending champions on the opening day of the group. But Lesotho are looking to follow suit here in picking up 6 points on the opening day, which will make things interesting. With the next side having 3 points, of course being Mauritius. Who would have thought? With Angola and Mozambique both on 1 point, possibly going into the third round of matches. Who would have thought? And as far as the surprise in this group,
I think for me, more than anything, that's how we can start summarizing this tournament. It's been a tournament of surprises. The underdogs, and the swing from the high of a win to the drop of the second game. That's the other one that I spotted. The teams that would have won their first game, they were going to be flat in their last or in their next game. Except, of course, for Malawi
and Lesotho.
That is if they don't crumble in this late stage of the game.
Football being football, and football people thinking the way we do. Let me not exclude us from those. But Billy would have been forgiven for thinking, okay, Lesotho first win against Mauritius. Can they do it again, though, against a better footballing nation? Here they are stepping up against Mozambique, and so far, with 10 minutes to go, they've done the business.
And in that first game, of course, you think, Mauritius.
That's exactly my point.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Mauritius. No changes. This time, it's Mose coming on here, Danilo. Renzoni is the man on here as well from Mozambique, getting his first showing of the tournament. Coming on with his side in desperate need of something positive going forward here. Now, Lesotho with a bit of pace. Flags up offside. Way off. far side official is Tyrell Nirenda. Actually, let me try that again. It's try well. Try well.
He's trying.
Wow.
Very well.
I said Tyrell earlier. My apologies. It's try well. Something about Zimbabwe and the names where they get beautifully creative with it. With the English language.
Die hard.
Is there Die Hard?
Yeah.
The ways.
He was a player.
Well, in and there's one or two appeals in there, but nothing going from the officials. Strong. Die Hard.
A good player at that. Don't laugh. That's somebody's name.
Before my days as a broadcaster, the company I worked for, we used to work with some couriers. And the guy at the courier company that was supposed to pick up stuff and deliver them at the customers, his name was Excellence. But Excellence was always getting it wrong. We'd always be laughing. Excellence, Excellence, you messed up again, Excellence. So whenever our boss would go off, oh, we'd die.
No, there was a problem there.
Yeah, big problem. Anyway.
Or like my banner, the one who always messes
Yeah,
up.
yeah. That put me under pressure for some time. That little joke come up on a personal level. So someone would just turn it around to me. I mean, my banner, you've done it again. You know?
Ben in the middle. Hasn't put a foot wrong. I've been impressed.
Now, there was an appeal earlier. Let's have a look here. Off the hip. Is it? Looks like the hip. Oh, Malani.
Now, off the hip, did it get to the hand eventually?
That's a good question.
But if it did, then it would have mattered, because from a playing limb to the hand, it's not considered a penalty. There's very little a player can do if the ball deflects. Which I think FIFA got it 100% right.
Yeah, the handball situation was one that was creating endless debates, where many of us from the old school were starting to think, just go back to the old rule, where if you just strike the hand, you don't care what the angle and what the scenario is, just call it a handball. Because so much was open to interpretation, and that's relative.
Yes, and that it was forever an argument, just never ended.
That's a good ball to that far side. Nice take as well here as Mozambique look to use up the time that's left here. Well enough to find an equalizer with the hope that they've got enough time to go look for a winner. Now, in a good area, played in. Lesotho able to clear. The rain has been consistent since the latter stages of the first half here. Hasn't stopped coming down right through the second half. So, through the conditions, including the wind here, both these sides have done a great job of giving us a good game of football, it need be said. In fact, we could go back to the Angola-Mauritius game as well earlier on in the day. under the conditions, the quality of football we've had today really has been good enough to entertain, and we'll be grateful for it. Now, that's a good ball. That's well defended. They are having to stay honest right till the very last. Lesotho defensively here and trying to protect their lead. Nice turn.
That's all they need right now, Lesotho, to try and find those moments where they can break the momentum of Mozambique. A foul in their favor, and they've seen another player down now, whether it's cramps or what, but it's great moments in trying to wind the clock down and trying to disrupt what Mozambique seems to be creating now towards the end of the game.
Come on. Do you know what these moments feel like, being a part of a technical team? You come in with a plan, you try and execute that plan, and run into a bit of a brick wall in an opponent that has a plan of their own, but are executing it just as well, if not better than your men are.
The only concern for me is for Mozambique in particular. I feel like as much as they're playing, they play, build-up play. There's something good about it, but the final third is not being functional at all. They're not creating enough. Even if they do, they don't find the back of the net. So it's not too many teams that will give you that many opportunities to find the goal, which Lesotho is doing a bit more hold onto the ball, a bit of ball possession, and that can be very frustrating as well.
So the number of times the Lesotho players have strayed into offside positions is enough to raise an eyebrow as they look to make a change here. Tolwani in for Sipadi. Well, Lesotho again having it in the attacking areas here, and unable to break in behind that defense, so close to breaking that defensive line. It was all too narrow in the end, so it's the turn now of Mozambique to get onto the front foot. Too easily given away. Maka. Wow, that's a lovely ball. Flag has stayed down now as Lesotho look to clean it up. He's isolated, plays it in with the hope of finding a teammate. Does Mohashani in the end. Mozambique are able to clear their lines. Then the angle was too difficult for him to think about a shot at goal.
And also, I thought he could have maybe had the presence of mind to delay a little bit. And it's that time whereby it's heading towards the end. Maybe take it to the corner and see how long can you hold it there. Because you could see that he was not running to beat the defender. He didn't have the speed to cut across direct towards goal.
Well, William Chong is making his way down to have his time with the post-match interviews with the coaches. We'll see out this match, and so far it looks as though it's Lesotho with the 100% record. Wow, what a ball that turned into be. And the flag has stayed down. In the end, the touch has gone wide when, if directed well enough, Tumelo Maka could have very well sealed it for Lesotho. The ODFC man, with a bit of route one stuff in behind that defense, they went to bed defensively, did Mozambique. And, well, Tumuela Maka himself would wish he was more wise to the opportunity that fell to him. Chance, in fact, a couple of chances now for Lesotho to find that second, put this game to bed, put it beyond Mozambique. Three minutes added on to the end of this game. Lesotho so close for Mozambique. Like Angola earlier, only way to describe it is a disaster possibly befalling them with the result now, with all that lies at stake. Keep in mind 3 groups means the top 3 in each group go through to the semi-finals in the new format, and the best second place team then will advance through to make the 4 semi-finalists. And well, nothing's true for error. It need to be said over 2 matches for those that are to make it through to the semi-finals. Flag up for offside. For the nation of Lesotho, lost out of the group stages of the COSAFA Cup in 2019 when they went as far as the semi-finals. They are looking to secure a place in the semi-finals this time around here, as this game goes down to an end. The year before they got up to 3rd place in 2017 semi-finalists, in 2016 quarter-finalists, semi-finalists again in 2013, runners up in 2000, quarter-finalists in 2001, quarter-finalists in 99. So what they're looking to do is work their way towards a semi-final spot. And here they are, looking to steal the 3 points. Ball across! Oh, what a save! Oh, what an attack! And the man denied, the man who's had a chance to put this game to bed twice now. Tumelo Maka. Three minutes have come and gone. Let's attack this. And after first round finishes for the last 2 tournaments in a row for the nation of Lesotho, they are back in business and operating in the business of getting out of the first round. They amassed 6 points here and are looking good for a place in the semi-finals. 100% records maintained here with the win firstly over Mauritius in the opening game. Then they followed that up with the win over Mozambique. While Mauritius had the beating of Angola, keep in mind earlier on, Angola and Mozambique playing through a 1-1 draw a few days ago. It's all about Lesotho in as far as Group C. Making all the right noise. For Mozambique's disappointment in the way the tournament has started, and that they would have come into this game with their hearts in the right place, looking to play Lesotho off the park under some tough conditions, but it's Lesotho that had it together, scored the goal that matters, and stayed tough and stood tall defensively. They've earned the 3 points here, but Lesotho, they've earned the 6 points in total, with 2 goals in their first match, 1 here. And also, they could have scored more here in this evening's encounter. They'll feel they should have scored more. But here at the Princess Makoko Stadium, it's Lesotho that do the business. 100% record maintained for Lesotho as they get the better of Mozambique with a 1-0 scoreline. Well, Mozambique were in action early in trying to create moments here, and that got saved by Morani. He certainly had the cut in the save then to deny the Mozambicans. And it was the Lesotho's turn to come up with something special. It doesn't get more special than this, in the way of a good hold up and a sweet finish. As Lesotho grabbed the lead then through No Mohashani, the Punch FC man, with the simplest of finishes after a stunning ball through from Bereng for Sifali to play across. Lesotho at full tilt at times were a joy to watch here, and have been a joy to watch under Coach Noti. Now, from range here, again, good decision making from Morani not to hold on to that ball and to fist it over. Safety first. And the frustration was to continue for Mozambique in their attempts to try and find an equalizer and get themselves back into this game. This wasn't to be. The rain started becoming a factor as well, it need to be said, and it continued to bucket down from late in the first half, but how's this for a great build-up that just needs the final touch to be on target, and Mozambique could have been celebrating an equalizer. Super stuff out in the wide areas, Rao with the ball in, and in the end, Dario was so feel he should have done better. Now, Lesotho, late in the day, ball across, Southers for a save. Super stuff. And Victor Gwambe between the sticks then. And, well, spraying the blushes for the Mozambicans, who were then running the risk of losing by 2-0. Let's have a look at the numbers then. So close. When you look at goal attempts and shots on target, including ball possession, not too much separating these two sides, except the one thing that matters the most. That, of course, is the goal scored by Lesotho, and could very well send Mozambique packing at the end of the group stage.
Player of the Match award goes to Tabang Malane, and Indira Albakek is here to present to him. She is, of course, the sponsorship coordinator of Hollywood Bets, and please do the honors. Malane, I'm thinking, you know, it was a tough game for you. You obviously didn't play, you didn't feature in that first game, and you got a chance to play, and you were unbelievable, and well done. Congratulations. Tell me what kept you going, because there was moments where I felt like you guys were under a lot of pressure, and yet you were able to hold on.
I have time but go to ba la re bitsa hore na re tle re etseng hore pressure re kgone ho control.
Congratulations and well done this evening. And of course, next is Martini, the coach of Mozambique. Coach, not the best of games, and yet for me, in as far as from your first game to this one, the firepower was still there, but the final pass wasn't happening for you.
Yes, of course. Our structure, it was offensive structure. We played well, but we didn't score. Even our opponent, they was tough today. They didn't give us a space, but we gave them a space in transition defense to attack. So, but let me say congratulations for the players. We didn't win. It was this result that was waiting. So, but next match against Mauritius, so we'll recovering the players now, and then we'll think what we're going to do.
Yes, by the way, you still have a chance. Yes, you only got a point, but anything can happen in that last game. And as far as the best runner-up, so you still have something to fight for.
Oh, okay. So I think so. It will be difficult for Finn to be in second position, because in other groups, some national teams there's got 6 points, so it will be difficult for us.
Anyway, congratulations, coach, and I'm sure you still have a chance to give other players a chance to display or have a chance to get the feel of what it is to play in a tournament like this.
Yeah, of course. It's an opportunity. As you see, we introduced the boy, one of the under-20 international player. But so next game we are going to give a chance, another opportunity. But let me say, congratulations, Lesotho. Good team. I think it was a very good team in both sides.
Best of luck going forward.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. And of course, Notse of Lesotho, the winning coach, is here with me. Coach, two things that you must be proud of. Yes, you got all 3 points, but even more, you kept a clean sheet once again.
Yes, really, we are quite satisfied with the performance of the boys. Getting a clean sheet again, it shows that our defense line is intact, and the goalkeeper too, and everybody within the team setup did his job quite well.
But it wasn't as easy as your last game, but I felt like defensively you held on, like you said, but also the ball position, the recycling of the ball, I think was key not to afford Mozambique possession of the ball.
Yes, actually the idea behind our plan today was to keep ball possession in areas that would harm our opponents, because they are a very good team, and I think they gave a good account of themselves. And we are also happy to play teams like Mozambique, because it gives our players the opportunity to learn, you know, the opportunity to grow against better, good opponents. So the idea was just to keep the ball possession, but be offensive as much as we can, create goal-scoring opportunities.
I'm sure you can see yourself in the semi-final. Obviously, you still have to do some work in that final game.
We're just taking one game at a time. We just have to be realistic with what the game gives. So we're just saying another game, we'll plan for it and go forward. And about the semi-final, we'll see as the games goes by.
Coach, congratulations and best of luck going forward.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, Coach Noti of Lesotho happy then with good reason. They, of course, have come up with the upset over Mozambique, whilst Mauritius had the upset over Angola earlier on in the day. And as far as the group, who would have thought Group C would have so much to talk about after a couple of rounds of matches? But let's have a look at how it all looks in the group, then going into the last round of matches in a couple of days' time. Lesotho topping the group, 100% record. They are yet to concede. Our Coach Noti's men with a goal difference of 3. Mauritius, while they bounced back from a loss in the opening day to a win against Angola, and Mozambique rounding up the group in what's a group that's been full of surprises, anyone's guess as to how it could turn out from the beginning. So we look forward to Seychelles, Zambia, South Africa, Eswatini. That's just tomorrow. While from the Princess Makoko Stadium, keeping in mind matches are kicking off in the same groups at the same time. It'll be Malawi and Comoros, or rather say to the Moses Mapida Stadium, Malawi, Comoros, as well as Namibia and Botswana. That's the action coming tomorrow. We're rounding up the third round in Group A and B. Things get rather interesting in the HOLLYWOODBETS COSAFA Cup of 2023.